Welcome to Dodgers Daily. I'm Casey Porter. I'm so glad you've decided to tune in. Since I've talked to you last, the Dodgers got walked off in the second game of the series to the Reds, and then they salvaged the third game by playing very good offense. Clayton Kershaw, he was at his best on Friday afternoon, knowing that the Dodgers needed a couple of things out of him. They needed him to win, obviously, to get this team back in the winning column. And then they also needed him to provide length because the bullpen has been used so much as of late. He did both. The Dodgers won the third game of the series, so headed off to Philadelphia. Obviously, the 1-3 or the 1-2 record, losing 2 out of 3 to Cincinnati is not what you're looking for, but it is what it is, and you just got to keep moving forward and keep just trying to chase Arizona now as the Dodgers are in second place. So a lot to get into as far as Dodgers talk. We're also going to have a full show down on the farm with all the minor league affiliates. A lot of great action down there. Jahmai Jones has been playing very well. Yonny Hernandez, with all these injuries, especially the Miguel Rojas situation, will Yonny Hernandez end up playing a big role? Luke Williams was just DFA'd the other day, and he got picked up by the Braves. So the Dodgers no longer have Luke Williams to play that shortstop, infielder, utility guy type role. Will Yonny Hernandez be that guy? Yonny is having a very good year. We'll get into him here in a minute. Devin Mann continues to play very, very well. Damon Keith, he's been very hot. Tulsa, they have struggled to pitch as of late. The best pitching staff in all the minor leagues. They, throughout a long season, you have your periods where you don't pitch and perform quite the way that you would like, and Tulsa is definitely going through one of those. Great Lakes continues to win close games, and Rancho, they're having a good year too at the single A level. So a lot to get to, but before we get into all that, hey, just a reminder that we have a GoFundMe account now with Dodgers Daily. I appreciate all the donations at this point. It certainly helps making all the trips to Oklahoma City and Tulsa and buying equipment and just the time of putting all the content together. I certainly appreciate everybody who has helped from that regard. So just scroll down to the description, click the link, and it'll take you right to the Dodgers Daily GoFundMe if you would like to donate. Also, hey, if you like this video and if you like this kind of content like you always do, go ahead and click that like button. Leave a like, leave a comment, tell all your friends about Dodgers Daily, and subscribe. And after you subscribe, make sure you have those notifications turned on. That way, every time Dodgers Daily releases a new video, you'll be notified and you'll never miss a thing. Okay, so a lot to get to. Hey, this is kind of one of those crazy parts of the year. You're approaching the trade deadline here in about 6 weeks. And so, hey, very interesting time of year. It's really the time of year where you got to start defining roles. So a lot to talk about as far as the Dodgers go. So let's not waste any more time and let's talk Dodgers baseball. So the Dodgers salvaged the third game of the series at Cincinnati. They lose 2 out of 3. They now are 36-27 on the year, 16-17 on the road, 20-10 at home. So, hey, I've had this conversation, kind of brought this up before. Hey, if you win twice as many games at home as you do on the road, then you break 500 on the road. That's probably a formula that wins you playoff series. So I think if the Dodgers continue winning at the clip they've won at, I think that formula right there as far as, the 20-10 at home and break 500 on the road, say a 7-game series, let's say 3 of those are at home and you win, 3 out of the 4 games at home, and then you win, 1, maybe 2 of the games on the road, that wins you the series right there. You just need to win 1 of them on the road. So, hey, as far as that formula goes, that is a winning formula in terms of just doing math for the playoffs, as far as how the Dodgers have done. But, hey, they are not in first place right now. Arizona is. Having said that, I am very optimistic as far as the way this goes. There's a lot of things, of course, the Major League debuts of Jonny DeLuca and Nick Robertson, I'm not going to lie, although the Dodgers did get walked off, it was disappointing. It still is June, and there's still a lot of time in this season. I left last night on a high because Nick pitched so well. And the thing about him, hey, he is a guy that has earned his way. He's not one of those bonus babies. He's not one of the guys that has been given just every opportunity that there possibly is because the Dodgers have so much money invested in him. He's been a guy that's had to work his way every step along the way. He's probably should have gotten opportunities at the major league level before now, okay? And he has just continued to work, continued to do everything the organization has asked from him, and because of that, he finally got his chance at the major league level. And so kind of having said that, seeing how long it's taken Nick to get to the major leagues, I was kind of thinking, I was a little nervous because, hey, with all the time it's taken him to get there, how big of a window is he going to have? If he goes out and gives up, say, 3 runs in his first outing, is he going to get sent right back down? That's kind of the worry that you have with Nick. And lo and behold, he goes out there and he throws 2 great 2 innings. And hey, if you follow Dodgers Daily enough, you know that one of the greatest things about Nick, and I've said this many times, is his versatility. He's gone 2 to 3 innings at the beginning of a game as an opener. He's gone 3 to 4 innings in the middle of a game as a bulk inning guy. And he's also been used as a high leverage guy. So he's a guy, kind of like they're using Evan Phillips. You can put him in any role, and as long as he's throwing that changeup and then the fastball that, hey, I told you, it's sitting 96. Normally 96 is the top end range that he throws at, but it's sitting at 96, touching 97. So he's at the uptick in velo. You got to see that, the good velo. You got to see the really good changeup with the arm side tail to it. Then you also got to see the slider as well. And Nick, by the way, hey, he made an adjustment. He is going to slide step all the time this year. Instead of having a wind up and or a leg kick while you're in the stretch and then also having a slide step, hey, he just mainstreamed everything, just went straight to the slide step every pitch. He's still able to make good pitches out of that. And because of that, he's created a lot more consistency and been in the strike zone more. And I'm just so happy that Dodgers fans got to see him perform and got to see what he's capable of. What Dodgers Daily fans have been seeing for so long in him. I was glad to see it on the grand stage. Okay, and I've also mentioned in the last podcast, the Dodgers need to figure out how to get Nick Robertson and Tayler Scott on the roster at the same time. Well, Noah Syndergaard goes on the IL with the blister, and up comes Tayler Scott, the 3/4 slot guy who has only given up runs in 3 of his 19 outings in AAA. He has been fantastic, and we saw his major league debut the other day. He did very, very well, got sent right back down. Okay, but he's back up. So, hey, that was one of my requests on the very last podcast I did. Nick Robertson, Tayler Scott, not one or the other, because Tayler Scott went down, Nick Robertson came up, which was great because it gave Nick, the chance to make the major leagues. But I was kind of thinking, hey, they both need to be on the roster, and lo and behold, they are. So the Noah Syndergaard deal, very sad. I'm not quite as, it doesn't, as far as emotionally, it doesn't quite affect me like it does some of the other fans. For one, he's making $13 million, and to be honest with you, I've been in the game of baseball my whole life at every part of it, as a player, as a coach, as an umpire, you name it, okay? And I haven't made $13 million in any one year. Of course, I wasn't obviously as good as Noah Syndergaard. Haven't made $54 million in my career. So, hey, a guy's going to get paid $13 million, all right? So it's hard to feel sorry for somebody when they're making bank like that. I tend to feel the emotions for guys that are making $1,500 a month or barely scraping by, guys at the AAA level that are just grinding, a guy like Mark Washington who just needs a chance, a guy like formerly Nick Robertson who is just doing everything they can, just trying to scrape by and figure out a way to make the major leagues. Those are the guys that really, from an emotional perspective, really get you attached to them. A guy making $13 million that was brought over here to be a hired gun, hey, if it works out, great. If it doesn't, here's $13 million. I know you don't like the fact that it didn't work out for you, but hey, take your $54 million and be very, very happy with that. That'll buy a lot of bait and a bunch of fishing rods and a bunch of gas for your boat to go fishing with if that's what you like to do. So, hey, from that perspective, it's a business transaction, and here's the way I look at that overall. I am very, very, very optimistic about the fact that it happened fast. Okay, the worst thing that could have happened to the Dodgers is if, this Noah Syndergaard deal would have just continued to linger on, and maybe he gave up, maybe 3 runs here and then had a good outing and then gave up 4 runs, and then had an okay outing and then gave up 6 runs, and it just kind of lingered on into July or maybe August. Okay, that would have been worst case scenario for me. The best part of this is it happened. Okay, the Dodgers realize now they either need to, change his role, or, they need to just cut bait and move on from here and just figure out a plan of how you're going to deal with this season without Noah Syndergaard. And or, hey, if Noah, wants to do like a lot of guys do hey, man, take a reset, get DFA'd. He will clear waivers. I would have to think he would, because nobody's going to want to take on that $13 million salary. Okay, so after you clear waivers, accept a minor league assignment with the Dodgers, redefine your role and or redefine yourself as a pitcher, and then maybe, hey, by mid-August, maybe late August, you're ready to come back up to the Major League club and help from that perspective. So if Noah Syndergaard, in my opinion, if he's really serious about, hey, I don't want to be the weak link and I'll do anything to help this club and I'll do anything to get better and get back to being a guy that can be reliable for this club, okay, then that would be the path for him, in my opinion. The Dodgers designate him for assignment. He goes on waivers. He clears waivers because, again, I don't think anybody would want to pick up that $13 million price tag. And then once he clears waivers, instead of declining that minor league assignment, which he would have the option to do because he has enough service time, and then become a free agent, instead of doing that, okay, accept the assignment, come down to Oklahoma City and redefine yourself. That's what, if Noah Syndergaard's serious about becoming, all the things he's saying about wanting to become, a guy that can be more reliable and all that, and if it's bothering him that much, for the $13 million he's making this year, that's probably the best path for him, and that's the path he should take, in my opinion. Okay, so the offense. The offense has been fantastic. I think we know that. Hey, this losing streak, the losing the Dodgers have done as of late. Okay, it's squarely on the pitching. Okay, so since May 18th, the Dodgers have given up 113 runs in 19 games. 113 runs in 19 games. You can do the math. That's not very good. So, hey, this losing has been squarely on the pitching, which goes back to the fact that, hey, some of that, or maybe a large part of it, is the fact that Noah Syndergaard's outings haven't been good as well. Okay, so that part of it is getting figured out. So, hey, if you can trade maybe the, Julio Urias coming back on off of the DL, who's pitching Sunday, for Noah Syndergaard, and you remove Noah Syndergaard's 6 or 7 run outings in the rotation with Julio Urias, who, if he regains himself, we know is a Cy Young type of pitcher, that's overnight a massive improvement to your starting rotation. And also, if Bobby Miller continues to pitch the way that he is, Clayton Kershaw, who went 7 innings. By the way, the Dodgers have 8 outings this year from their pitchers, of which their pitcher has gone at least 7 innings, and Clayton Kershaw has 5 of those. So not only has he been fantastic, of course, he had the great April, struggled a touch in May. Okay, obviously the extenuating circumstances had all to do with that situation. Now he's back. Not only did he know that his club needed to win today, he knew they needed length, and by golly, he gave them 7 innings. That's why one of the reasons, of the many, that he is an absolute Hall of Famer. Okay, so when you look at Taylerscott coming up, Nick Robertson coming up, Jonny DeLuca, who had really, some really good at-bats last night, people saw, just how calm, cool, and collected he is. When you look at these situations, okay, it's giving the front office the time they need, the 6 weeks, to really evaluate and pinpoint the exact needs that this Dodgers team has. And I'll tell you what, hey, from a bullpen perspective, I think the Dodgers I think it's a better bet to bring up guys like Nick Robertson, Taylerscott, maybe a Mark Washington, and or dip into your AA depth, or maybe Gavin Stone reinvents himself, and or Michael Grove gets moved to the pen. I think you have in-house better options to shore up your bullpen. Daniel Hudson might be back. So I think in-house, the Dodgers have what they need to shore up the bullpen. And then also, if you go trade for a guy, are you going to get somebody who is more talented than Yency Almonte? Are you going to get somebody who has a better track record than him, or Alex Vesia, or even a Brusdar Gratterall? Are you going to get somebody with a better track record than them? So if you're gonna go get a guy that needs a little bit of a resurrection, a guy that, hey, you're thinking, let's bring him to the Dodgers and we can get him to reach all of his potential and make him a better pitcher than he ever has been, why not just do that resurrection project with the guys you already have in your system, and just make some tweaks with them and get them figured out. Guys that you already have a track record with, that can perform in big time situations, guys that you're very comfortable with. Why not just do it with them? So I think between just tweaking a Yency Almonte, a Brusdar Gratterall, and then the arms that you already have in your system, like we saw with Nick Robertson, Tayler Scott, Mark Washington, guys like that. I think your best bet for your bullpen is to, and then Daniel Hudson coming back, like I mentioned. I think your best bet for your bullpen is to, by and large, stay within house and try to figure out that situation from that perspective. As far as your starting rotation goes, okay, you're going to have Julio Urias, you're going to have Clayton Kershaw, you're going to have Tony Gonsolin. If Bobby Miller keeps pitching like he is right now, that's a good staff, okay? If Julio Urias starts pitching like he's capable of, you have him, then you have a Hall of Famer, then you have Tony Gonsolin, who was, one of the best pitchers in all of baseball statistically last year, and then you got Bobby Miller, who has just been absolute lights out. And then with that fifth spot, I know Michael Grove's ERA, he doesn't have a win yet this year, and his ERA is up there, but I think we all have to agree that his stuff looked really good last time. He was touching 97. The slider had good, tight, vertical break to it, and he looked really good. He just made a couple mistakes and gave up a couple of home runs. So, hey, if Michael Grove continues to pitch like he did last time out, Bobby Miller continues to pitch like he has in his first, couple of outings, you get Julio Urias back and he starts pitching to his potential, all of a sudden your rotation looks really good too. So I'm very optimistic when you put all those aspects together. Combine that with the offense that you're already playing good offense with, okay? And then you also, when you combine all that with the fact that the schedule is quite a bit easier for the Dodgers down the stretch than the D-backs. Like I've said, I don't think Arizona is going to just crumble. I think the Dodgers are going to have to take it from them, but I think the Dodgers are a better team, one, okay, and two, I think they have a better schedule for the rest of the year. And for that perspective, I would be shocked if the Dodgers don't finish first. And because all of these situations are popping up here in June, 6 weeks out from the trade deadline, it's giving the organization the perfect window to assess everything that they need to do at the trade deadline. And I've mentioned several different times, I'll be shocked if they're not aggressive. They're not going to be stupid. They're not going to go out and give up 17 prospects for a mid-level, relief pitcher. They're not going to do anything stupid like that. But hey, if they can get a number one starter, instead of, that fifth spot we talked with a Grover or somebody like that, if they can instead replace that with a number one type starter and give up some prospect capital to do that with, hey, they'll do that if they think that is something that will, help them win a World Series this year, because I promise you this, nobody wants to win a World Series more than the front office. Every decision they make is made with the thought of winning a World Series. I'm very optimistic about where the Dodgers are at right now. I think they are going to win the NL West, and I think also, like I said, the timing of all these things, Noah Syndergaard situation, Julio Urias getting back, the bullpen, what do you do with the bullpen, bringing up the two guys from AAA, that kind of thing. It's all playing out at the perfect time of year because, again, it's 6 weeks out from the trade deadline. It gives you enough window of time to analyze, hey, is what we're doing right now working? It gives a guy like Yency Almonte, Caleb Ferguson, it gives guys like that time to get their situations figured out and get consistent again before the Dodgers realize, hey, it either is working or it isn't. And if it's not, let's make a move and let's get this figured out. Okay. And also, it's going to give the organization, I think, a long enough window to evaluate Bobby Miller. Is he that guy that's going to be in the rotation going into the playoffs? Okay. Are we going to have a fifth starter going into the playoffs? It's going to give the organization time to go into that. It's going to give them time to evaluate a Michael Grove or whoever's in that fifth spot, a Gavin Stone if he comes back up, or one of the AA guys, and whether they need to make a move, for a top-end starter. If Julio Urias doesn't come back and he's not necessarily a dominant number one type pitcher. So, hey, that's my optimism. Hey, maybe too Pollyannish, but that's just kind of where I'm at. Plus, I'm in a great mood for the simple fact that the Dodgers are using these AAA guys and people are getting to see that what this organization has in-house works. Nick Robertson, in my opinion, is as good as anybody you can go get on the trade market. I think eventually Taylerscott will be as well. We'll see how that ends up working out, but he has been dynamite at AAA. I'm huge on that guy. Johnny DeLuca, good player. Miguel Vargas is coming on. James Outman, he struggled lately, but we've seen, he has a WRC plus that is above average at league level. So, that's kind of where I'm at right now. So that's our talk on Dodgers baseball. Got kind of long-winded, but I'm super excited again about the debuts, last night and where the Dodgers are at right now. And then they have, the series at the Phillies, and then they come back home. And, this is a stretch I've talked to where, hey, starting in July, you need to, this stretch, and then going into July, you need to start making hay. and you start separating. First of all, you got to catch Arizona, then start separating yourself from there. So that's our talk on the Dodgers. Let's not waste any more time. Let's turn our attention to the minor league system, and let's take a trip down the farm. The Oklahoma City Dodgers scored just 1 run in the third, 2 in the seventh, and they dropped a decision to the El Paso Chihuahuas last night, 4-3. El Paso is a AAA affiliate of the San Diego Padres. The Oklahoma City Dodgers now dropped to 42-18 on the season. It's been a great year. I just got through talking about Taylerscott, Nick Robertson, how they need to be on the Major League roster at the same time. Well, the next guy that I would bring up is Mark Washington. He went 3 2/3 innings last night. It's the third performance in a row that Wash has went multiple innings. You know, I've talked about Nick. One of the things I like the most about him is his versatility. You know, Andre Jackson only went 1 inning last night. I don't know exactly why he gave up 1 run on 1 hit, had a strikeout. You know, sometimes the Dodgers have those openers, and those openers only go 1 inning. So, hey, you're a reliever, and you're only going to get 1 inning, but we're going to move that 1 inning to the very beginning of the game. So, you know, I don't have exact details on why Andre Jackson left after 1 inning, but I do know that Mark Washington went 3 2/3, so it does not appear like that was a planned situation for Andre, but that's just speculation, so I will do some more research on that and let you know whenever I find something out on that situation. But again, Mark Washington went 3 2/3 innings, man. And when you're talking about, you know, if you added him to your Major League roster, you're adding him and Nick Robertson, 2 guys that can go 2, 3, 4 innings. Man, that is just what the doctor ordered. They're both very long. Look how long Wash is right here. And watch how the extension. Look how close to home plate. Look at that front landing foot, and look how far down the mound it is. I'm going to click watch again here, and look how close he is to home plate whenever he delivers that ball. That's Hunter Fiducia right there. With Austin Barnes and his situation, you know, we'll see. They're having x-rays today with him. Hey, I'll say this too. You know, hey, don't go take a guy or like you did last time and just go get a guy to DFA him. You know, Hunter Fiducia has gone through your system. He's done everything you've asked him to do. Bring up Hunter Fiducia, and if you choose to DFA him to make room on the 40-man, again, for Austin Barnes, when Barnes makes it back, okay, and you have to DFA him, so be it, and he gets picked up by another club, great for him. He gets to be in the major leagues, okay, but Hunter Fiducia deserves a shot if Austin Barnes does go on the IL. Hunter Fiducia deserves to be that guy that gets brought up for the Dodgers and have his time at the major league level. That's just my opinion on that situation. The young man who, hey, he's a great pitch caller. He's very chill, so he works very well with the pitchers, you know, in those high intensity moments. He keeps his pitchers calm. He's one of the most well-respected, grittiest players in the entire system. The players call him Fetty. They absolutely love him. So, hey, if Austin Barnes does have to go on the IL, by the way, that was just a fly ball, but Mark Washington is very, very, very competitive. You'll see that if you watch him pitch that much. You know, he does not like making mistakes. So, hey, just wanted to kind of throw my 2 cents on the catcher situation. That, hey, I understand all the business part of it, that you're probably going to lose Hunter Fiducia because when Barnes gets back, you're going to DFA him. He probably would get picked up in waivers by another team. I understand all that, but I think Fiducia should be the next guy if Barnes goes on the IL for any kind of extended period of time. Now, if it's 1 or 2 days, you know, well, you can't go 1 or 2 days anymore, but hey, you know, if it's 7 days, that would be interesting to see. You know, that would be a tough decision, but you know, that's where I'm at on that. So Mark Washington, I think he should be the next guy brought up for many different reasons. He's, first of all, very good. He goes on heaters, long periods of stretches of the season where he doesn't give up any runs and gets a lot of strikeouts. He had 4 strikeouts last night. He has the great extension. He has the fastball, changeup, and slider. So he has a 3-pitch mix that the Dodgers love. And I think, you know, he's been in the major league since about this time last year. So he's had just about a complete full season at the AAA level. He's ready for a new challenge. He's ready for that ultimate challenge, which is the major leagues. And another guy, again, that you're adding that can go multiple innings, that can be a bulk inning guy in the middle of a game, and not just be a bulk inning guy, but do what he did last night and go just 1 out shy of 4 innings and not give up any runs. So, hey, Mark Washington, great job last night. Keep scratching, keep clawing, keep grinding, man. Hopefully you'll be the next one called up. Michael Busch had 3 hits last night, including his first triple of the year and his 4th home run. Michael Busch is hitting .292. He was out for a little bit. He's been back for, I think, 3 games right now, and boy, has he made a splash. He's hitting .292 on the year, OPS .889. Talk about making that splash. How about 6 for 12 since he came back into the lineup, in case you're wondering? He was playing third base last night. I apologize for the video being choppy. Not a whole lot I can do about it, but that is an absolute long-gone bomb right there for Michael Busch. So a lot of power, good average, great hitter. I've mentioned it a couple times. I wish the club would have figured out, or still can, figure out how to get him 300 Major League at-bats, because I am that high on his hit tool. But, hey, Michael Busch, he's back, and he's doing what he always does, and that's hitting the baseball. Thought you might want to see recently acquired Cole Calhoun, who had 2 hits for AAA Oklahoma City. He was on base 3 times. And, hey, since the club acquired him, he has 3 for 12. And he had, 4,291 Major League at-bats. Lifetime 243 hitter. OPS 734 at the Major League level. So not super impressive. I saw him quite a bit when he was with Salt Lake back 2019, I believe it was. And, hey, I'll tell you this about him. Very, very, very impressive athlete. Lots and lots and lots of swing and miss from what I've seen. And he went on stretches. He had a lot of lift, a little bit more lift back in his swing back then. He's one of those, at least used to be. He looks like he's made some adjustments since I saw him then, but hey, he was another one of those negative bat angle guys. See how his bat's a little bit flatter right there as far as the path of the barrel. It's coming through a little bit more east and west versus north and south than what I remember seeing him when he was in Oklahoma City in 2019. Because, hey, when you have that negative bat angle and also you lift the hands, I talk about that all the time, you have a bunch of holes in your swing. And, yes, you're going to hit a lot of home runs, which he did when I saw him. He hit some moonshot home runs, but then also you're going to have a ton of swing and miss, which he also had that. So looks like to me he's made some adjustments to become a little bit better or more of an east-west type of hitter where the barrel's not quite, below the hands quite as much and it's coming through the zone a little bit flatter, and I think that will help him. But, hey, the club, great athlete, major league experience, minor league contract, that kind of thing. We know the Dodgers love that, and he's 3 for 12 since joining the club. Cole Calhoun. On Wednesday night, Devin Mann, I had to show you this. I haven't talked to you since, there's been actually 2 minor league games for each affiliate since the last time I've talked. He went 3 for 5. He hit his 5th home run and his PCL leading 23rd double. Last time I checked, the second place guy with doubles only had 16. So I do believe I know he leads the league in doubles as far as the PCL goes, but I think it's by 7 doubles. And, hey, check this out. Devin Mann, his average is all the way up to 297, OPS 919, and Devin Mann, at least at the time when I did this tweet, which was after the Wednesday night game, hitting 500 so far for AAA Oklahoma City in this month of June. He has 3 doubles this month, a home run, and 9 RBI. So I say it all the time about Devin Mann. When he gets hot, he really gets hot, and he's on a heater right now. Some more action from Wednesday night. Jahmai Jones had a triple and a home run for AAA Oklahoma City and had 3 RBIs and scored 3 runs. Okay, this was as of the time I put out this tweet. I did not check again last night, but as of after the game Wednesday night, okay, he had been smoking hot hitting. He was hitting 500 so far in June, OPS 1900, and it doesn't get much hotter than that. Okay, 313 on the year is the average for Jahmai Jones. Okay, OPS 1039, so he's not just hot, he's also having a great year. Jahmai Jones. Surprising for me that the guy that you're seeing right here, zackburdi, okay, he cleared waivers. He got DFA'd, a little while back. I can't remember who took his spot on the roster. You can go back and look at transactions for that, but he got DFA'd, okay, and then I believe it was actually taylerscott that took his spot after Birdie got DFA. Don't quote me on that, but again, I may go back and look at the transactions. That'll bug me not knowing that exact situation. But I thought he'd get picked up. I saw him live. I took this video right here, and to be honest with you, I didn't know a whole lot about him. He was a first-round draft pick back in 2016, and he was popping 96, 97 the night that I saw him. And I was like, oh, wow, okay, very good. And then he had the slider right there. That was a really good pitch. So I was like, hey, this guy's got some pretty legit stuff, the exact kind of stuff that the Dodgers like. So I was surprised that he got DFA'd in the first place. And then I was like, well, hey, he's going to get picked up because if anybody's seen this guy throw lately, his stuff, is in the 96 range, and his slider looks really good. Very surprised to find out he cleared waivers. He was designated for assignment for Oklahoma City. He obviously accepted that assignment. He has, I don't know how much exact service time he has, but he has 21.1 major league innings. So, I don't think he has enough service time to decline that. Maybe he does. I don't know the exact situation there, but hey, I was surprised that he cleared waivers. He did, so he's back with Oklahoma City. So another guy, former first-round draft pick, 2016 by the Chicago White Sox. Really good stuff. 96 miles an hour, good slider, and a guy, like I said, that has major league experience, minor league contract. So another guy, seriously, to keep your eye on, keep him on the radar. The Dodgers love guys like this that are very stuffy. And when I say stuffy, meaning, they have all the metrical equations to their stuff. They have the big four seam, the good, horizontal breaking slider with the good depth. So keep your eye on zackburdi. The AA Tulsa Drillers, one of the most talented teams in all the minor leagues. They dropped to 35-19, so they've had a tremendous season this year. Very talented team, but they have struggled, believe it, to pitch lately. As a matter of fact, they've had some outings, if you go and look, where they've had some starts go very, very much so sideways on them, which is very surprising because coming into this last week, they've had the best ERA of any staff in the minor leagues. They've had the best ERA of any starting staff of any team in the minor leagues. So very surprising that the pitching has gone a little bit sideways. And it's been kind of take your turn. It's been a little bit of everybody who's had some sideways performances. So, it happens. It's baseball. Baseball's a very tough game. Who you're seeing right here, though, Austin Gauthier. The offense was okay last night. Austin had 3 hits last night for AA Tulsa. He also hit his first AA home run just the other day, and believe it or not, it was dead center. This double was to right center. He is one of the best players in all of the minor leagues of staying inside the baseball and hitting the ball the other way, staying back up the box. Jose Ramos also had 4 hits. Eddie's Leonard, who we're going to talk about here in a minute, he had a home run. Brandon Lewis had a hit, and then Cody Hosey had 3 hits that we're going to talk about here in a minute. So the AA Tulsa Drillers, again, they lose 9-5 last night to drop to 35-19. On the pitching last night, River Ryan started. He went 3 2/3 innings, 7 runs he gave up, and they were all earned. 6 strikeouts, just 1 walk. He did give up a home run. He was like 1 out away from getting out of I believe it was the 3rd inning, and then things went completely sideways from there. But again, ERA's been good on the year. It ballooned up to 3.05 last night. It had been right around 1.5, so ERA still okay at 3.05. That just goes to show you how good River Ryan has been on this season. And like I said, this has been kind of staff-wise. It seems like everybody's taken their turn on this Tulsa staff lately of having, that one performance that things just go sideways on you. It's baseball, like I said. It happens. Tanner Dodson also gave up a couple of runs last night. And then we're going to get into Jake Pilarski, Ben Harris, and Antonio Knowles, who all went scoreless as well. You're looking at Antonio Knowles right here. He was throwing last night what I call his conchinator. That slider is so good that it needs a name. He is from Key West. In the Key West baseball program, they are known as the Conches. So, I call his slider, that awesome pitch right there. That's not the best slider he's ever thrown in his life. He got away with that one. That was a hanger. That was a good little cutter-type pitch to get in on a lefty. Okay, but that slider is just fantastic. We're going to see it here, right there. That's a good pitch, and that's not even close. Look, he's not. You can tell by his mannerisms. There it is. There's the slider that Antonio Knowles likes. There's another one. You can tell by his mannerisms he didn't like how that one didn't cut. There's 3 in a row. It didn't have as much depth as he wanted. There's 4 in a row for Antonio Knowles. So there is that conchinator that I like to call it. ERA. There's kind of his get me over slider, if you will. Another get-me-over slider, just kind of to get it in the zone and to get the at-bat going. That was an 0-1 count. Okay, so, all right. ERA on the year for Antonio Knowles, 2.05. His whip is 114. His average against is 192, and he has not allowed a run in 3 out of his last 4 innings. So Antonio Knowles, great job, young man. Can't wait to see him in person. The 101 Express. I know Mitch mentioned in some of the comments that he looked like Goose Gossage, and then he cut all that off, and so he's gone back to being a little bit more clean cut and less of that scruffy, intimidating looking Goose Gossage type. You look for For Jake Pilarski, I like to call him the 101 Express because he's reached 101, 102 with his fastball. But I'll tell you what he didn't ditch. He did not ditch his four-seam that is big, his wicked slider, and his changeup. And last night, Pilarski, he went 1 2/3 innings. One thing I really like about what the Dodgers are doing with their minor league relief pitchers is they are allowing them to extend more than just one inning, man. You saw Mark Washington go 3 2/3. And Jake Pilarski went 1 2/3. We're getting ready to talk about Ben Harris, who also went more than one inning. So I love the fact that the Dodgers are training their minor league relievers to, hey, you're not just a one-inning guy. You are whatever we need you to be for that night. Okay, Jake Pilarski has been very, very good. His ERA is 1.27. His average against is down to 1.82, and he has not allowed a run in his last 4 outings and 9 out of 10. Another guy that, hey, why go trade for a guy when you already have a guy that can throw 101, 102 with, the really good off-speed stuff that has shown in spring training that he can get major league hitters out. So, hey, why not take that guy and put him in your lab, see what you can do for him. So it'll be interesting to see, how fast. It's not a matter of if, it's a matter of if Jake Pilarski keeps pitching like he did this year, a matter of when he will arrive in the major leagues. So it'll be interesting to see the track and how fast it is that the Dodgers have him on. Ben Harris, sometimes he floats out of the zone, and that is the only thing that can stop him is when he is not throwing strikes because, last year he led I believe it was all of baseball. I believe I remember Dennis Higgins saying that, but I know it was all the minor leagues, at least, in strikeouts per innings pitched. He throws what I call an invisible baseball, meaning the hitter is simply, to look at that hitter right there is like, how did I not, it's late right there, but the look on his face and then you buckle is like, how did I not hit that? Or I didn't even see that. And look, the hitter right there is like, wow. I mean, he's late and it's like 92, 93 and you're like, how am I late on that? And then right there you see up with the four seam. And it's because look how he hides this ball. Look how deceptive it is. Look how the ball stays behind his back right there. And the hitter doesn't see it literally until it's already on its way to home plate. So you get a late detection on the baseball, which makes you late like you saw right there. And it makes it invisible. That's why I call it the invisible ball that Ben Harris throws. He's led the minor leagues, like I said, last year, and at least the minor leagues in strikeouts per inning and per innings pitched. Okay, he struck out 4 last night, 1 2/3 innings. So, hey, that is 5 outs. He struck out 4 guys out of his 5 outs. So he strikes a lot of guys out. He went like a million different, I think it was like 25 performances in a row last summer, not allowing a run in a row in any of them. So that was very impressive as well. And he's on another heater. He hasn't allowed a run in his last 5 outings and 9 out of his last 10. And during that stretch, he has 11 Ks in his last 5.1 innings. So Ben Harris on another heater. Cody Hosey had 3 hits yesterday for AA Tulsa, and hey, when he's going well, he's hitting the ball like that right back up the box. And sometimes when you hit the ball absolutely perfectly, it actually comes out like a knuckleball because you hit, with the exact, you took all the spin off of it. When you do that, typically speaking, you've matched everything that the pitcher has in terms of, bat angle and planing your swing and, launch angle and coming off the bat. Let me go ahead and repeat that and let you watch Cody Hosey again. And he likes to hit those knuckleballs right back up the middle because he's so good at taking all that spin off because he squares it up when he goes up the middle like that. So he had 3 hits yesterday, Cody Hosey did, and going good. So, hey, he had 3 hits. He has 3 hits in 2 games already this month. So he's had 2 games this month alone where he's had 3 hits in 1 game, and he's hitting 400 so far in June. So great job, Cody Hosey, man. Let's stay healthy. Let's knock on wood. Let's keep that health well, and let's keep staying hot like you have been so far in June. OPS 938 this month. So, hey, keep grinding, Cody. The Great Lakes Loons scored 2 in the bottom of the 9th inning, and that was all they mustered yesterday to lose 7-2 to the Lake County Captains, to drop to 37-17. So, kind of like Tulsa as having a very, very, very good season, although they did not win last night. On the pitching side, Ronan Coppy started another good outing for him. He went 3 innings scoreless. He had 4 strikeouts as well. Raynedoncon he gave up a run and an inning. Jermaine Rosario, he went 1 1/3 innings and gave up 3 runs. Franklin De La Paz, he threw last night, gave up a run in 1 2/3 innings. And Carlos De Los Santos also gave up a couple of runs in his 1 inning. So Ronan Kopp, again, another good outing for him. He had 4 Ks. His ERA is down to 2.21, and he has 45 strikeouts in 34 innings. He's gone scoreless in 2 starts in a row and 3 of his last 4. So good job, Ronan Kopp, the young man. Very, very talented out of Northern California. Long, tall, kind of gangly, uncomfortable at bat. Lots of herky-jerky, lots of knees and elbows, and it comes out just smoking in the mid to high 90s at times. So Ronan Kopp, very impressive young pitcher, and he's up to Great Lakes. I cannot wait till he gets to AA Tulsa to get my eyes on him for myself so I can see him pitch from behind home plate and get to see what that deceptive looking, another one of those guys, look how he drops that baseball behind his back. So very tough to pick up for a hitter, and he's already very long. He's already very gangling and very awkward to begin with, and then it's deceptive and you don't pick up the baseball. So very, very high on Ronan Kopp. Chris Newell had a multi-hit day for Great Lakes, which is his 14th of the year, and he is now hitting .333 in May. His OPS is 1,100, 10 home runs, and 27 RBIs. The young man out of the University of Virginia, I talk about every time. There's that audio from Brad Tunney, who does just a wonderful job on play-by-play for the Great Lakes Loons. That Chris Newell, one of the most talented young players in the system. He has the speed. He can steal bases. He can hit home runs. Kind of, I liken him to the left-handed version of Jonny DeLuca. So Chris Newell had another good night last night with a multi-hit day. I've been telling anyone who will listen how much power, the potential of power that Alex Freeland, the shortstop, switch-hitting shortstop, has for Great Lakes. Well, how about that? Look at that bomb. That is just an absolute bomb. He destroyed that pitch last night. That was bombs away. Okay, and he has hits in 13 of his last 16 games, and he's raised his average 54 points since May 20th. So, hey, boy, that was fun to watch from Alex Freeland. I also wanted to show you this action from Wednesday night. Hey, my man, Justin Robleski, my Oklahoma State Cowboy, he is turning that corner. I've been telling you about him. He had that Tommy John surgery. He hit 98 miles an hour, man, left from the left side, Justin Robleski. When I say turning that corner, he had the Tommy John surgery and, getting all the feels back and getting the velo back. I told you that I have seen his StatCast data, and it is super impressive. It doesn't get much more impressive. And look at the slider and the break on that slider right there. It doesn't get much more impressive than 98 miles an hour from the left side with that type of slider. And hey, this was, they call him Robo, Justin Robleski. This was his second consecutive start where he has not allowed a run. So hey, it's turning into, he's turning in from a guy who just has a lot of good stuff to a guy who is becoming a really good pitcher. So hey, Robo, super excited about where he is at right now. So keep up the great work. Got lots of video of the Rancho Cucamonga game. Thank you to Modesto for having such a wonderful video feed. It is fantastic to get to actually watch and get some video of these young, talented team. Hey, this Rancho team, very, very, very fun. Paytonmartin on the mound. Then you guys got guys like Theron Lorenzo, Jesus-Galiz, and Jorgepuerta, and Raynedoncon, and josuedepaula, who is now up with Rancho Cucamonga. This has turned into one of the funnest teams to watch in all the minor leagues very quickly. Rancho has, Paytonmartin right here, you're seeing on the screen, 18-year-old. I believe he's still 18, but he was drafted last year, 17th round. That is just absolutely a joke that it went that long to get him drafted because he is insanely talented. I have it confirmed that he was 95 to 97 last night. He's touched as high as 98. Okay, and he went 3 innings, scoreless last night, 5 strikeouts, very, very explosive, and no walks. For a guy that's just out of high school, a lot of times they have the explosive stuff, and they're very athletic, and they're young, and they're energetic, but sometimes they don't find the strike zone. So I think out of everything he did last night, the 3 innings scoreless, gave up just 2 hits, 5 strikeouts, touched 97. Maybe the most impressive thing he did was he did not walk a single hitter all night long. Okay, his ERA is 1.90 on the season. So Paytonmartin, man, this young man is a rock star in the making. He is, he has that presence to him. He has that confidence to him, but not arrogance. He's not cocky. Or he has some cockiness to him. Don't get me wrong. You have to have success in this game because it's such a game of failure and it's so difficult. But he's not arrogant, and he's not that guy that hey, shows up the other team from that perspective. Okay, so Great job last night, Payton-Martin, and it's super fun every time that there's a chance for me to get to watch him on video, because Rancho doesn't have video on their home games. I take advantage of it because he is super good. Rancho Cucamonga entered the top of the ninth last inning, trailing 3-1, and they hung a 6 spot on the Modesto Nuts, thanks in part to this, well, not inside the park home run, but hey, as you're going to watch the circus, the merry-go-round gets started, the ball gets started throwing around everywhere. Kylenevin came all the way around on a single up the middle to score, to actually give Rancho Cucamonga the lead, that they would not relinquish. They scored 6 in the top of the ninth inning yesterday to beat the Modesto Nuts 7-3. Kylenevin, let me go ahead and repeat that. Kylenevin is a young man who has gotten off to a great start in 2023. He's hitting .333, OPS .892. He has hits in 3 games in a row and has 3 multi-hit games this month. On the evening, the Rancho Cucamonga Quakes had 11 hits. Kylenevin had 2 of them. Jesusgaliz, who we're going to talk about, had 3. Raynedoncon, who we're going to get to, had a couple of hits as well. Luis Rodriguez had a hit. And then Jorgepuerta, he had a couple of knocks as well. We're going to talk about him too. So again, 7-3 last night, a 6 spot in the top of the ninth inning, highlighted by this, let's call it an inside the park home run by kylenevin. Jesusgaliz had 3 hits for Rancho. Another one of those talented young catching prospects. And look at this young man. The first time I saw him, he was thinner. Look at the bottom half. Look at the trunk and the legs and the core. Man, he is getting bigger and stronger every time I see him. He has a very, very, very sweet stroke from the right side. Jesusgaliz, the young man out of Venezuela, who lost his dad in 2020 to COVID. He was very, very close. His dad would take him to those summer tournaments, and they were just unbelievably close. So that just destroyed, Jesusgaliz whenever his dad passed because of COVID. So he dedicated himself, I should say, to becoming the best he can in honor of his father. He plays for his dad every time he takes the mound, or that he takes the diamond, I should say, and is in the lineup and is playing baseball. So, very, very motivated, very just awesome young man. I've had a chance to talk to him twice now, and he just is a wonderful young man and getting bigger, getting stronger. He loves the weight room, and like I said, already has the baseball tool, so super high on young catching prospect Jesusgaliz. Raynedoncon had 2 hits last night for Rancho, and he had a great game. Like I mentioned before, Josuedepaula is up, Raynedoncon. When you have Payton-Martin pitching, or any of the other guys they have out there, Jesusgaliz catching, Theron Lorenzo hitting home runs. This is a very, very, very fun Rancho Cucamonga team. So, anytime I get a chance to have video on them, I'm going to get as much as I can. I got a bunch last night, and here is one of Raynedoncon going the other way. Just a simple little ground out, but I wanted to show you the swing of Josuedepaula. He is a very highly ranked young man. Just got to Rancho here just about a week or so ago, so going to get more video on him. This is all I could get last night, but I wanted to show you. Look at that sweet swing. Look at the size. Big old dude, with a very just free swinging. Kind of has a Bernie Williams feel to him for me. That's who I just, when I see him, that's who I think of first, I should say. That outfielder, very good athlete, big guy, sweet swing. So, Josuedepaula, let's keep an eye on him. I'll get as much video coming up in the future to watch on him, and so we can all watch him grow up in the system. Jorgepuerta, another catcher. Look at the bottom half of him. It kind of looks like Jesusgaliz in the sense that, man, those guys, they're very, very strong in the core. They're very strong in the lower half. Definitely catcher-type frames, and he had 2 hits last night. Puerta did for Rancho. He has hits in 3 of his last 4 games. Last night, very versatile. He catches some, but he played first base last night, and so versatile, very versatile, and the Dodgers love that. He has great arm strength. He's very strong, like I said, in his lower half. Very short, very compact swing, so lots to like about Jorgepuerta. So there you have it. I told you there was a lot of action to get to. I wanted to get to all that Rancho Cucamonga stuff. I can't wait to keep watching them over the weekend as they have videos. Super excited about Justin Robleski, like I talked about. Michael Busch being back. Hopefully Mark Washington, he gets a call up sometime this year and in time to give him enough runway to see what he can do before that trade deadline, to see, if the Dodgers need to make some moves. And I know they've made a couple of moves here as of late, so hey, it was an exciting day of action. Of course, it started off great with King Kershaw getting the day started off right for the Dodgers, getting them back in the win track, and the Dodgers now head to Philadelphia. So all in all, it was a good day in the system, so I hope you enjoyed today's show. I also hope that you tune in tomorrow, and I also hope that you like this video and interact with this video. Leave a comment, tell all your friends, and then become a subscriber, and after you subscribe, click that notification bell. Also, we have a GoFundMe account, Dodgers Daily does, and hey, you can scroll down the description, click that link, and it'll take you right to the GoFundMe for Dodgers Daily. As always, thanks for tuning in, and go Dodgers.